News Panorama is a TV news magazine program that gives you the story behind the story.
It tells the stories the way they should be told by capturing the larger scale.
It deals with people's deep feelings on issues that, when brought to the fore, ultimately educates, informs, and entertains.
News Panorama. Capture the larger scale.
As the 2027 general election approaches, Nigeria's political landscape is heating up, with party primaries scheduled to take place between April 23 and May 30, 2026, according to Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) guidelines. INEC has warned that parties must meet the May 30 deadline for conducting primaries and submitting candidates, with reports that some parties are urging an extension to July. Nigerians are looking out for the outcome of party primaries, as it oftentimes profoundly impacts citizens by determining the quality of candidates available in general elections, shaping political landscape and influencing democratic stability. In Cross River State, a lot has been happening in the political space, from endorsement to people stepping down in favor of another, to screening, and Cross Riverians are anxiously looking forward to the outcome of party primaries in the state. These and many more are on our lineup this week. It is a must-watch. Welcome and thanks for joining me on the program News Panorama. I am Josephine Efanga. If you've just tuned in, you're watching News Panorama.
News Panorama. Capture the larger scale.
As political activities picks up ahead of the 2027 general elections in Cross River State, tension is rising within the major parties over tickets and nominations. However, primaries are where political parties choose their candidates for governorship, senatorial and House of Representative and other positions. This is a stage where not everyone who wants tickets will be given, and that is what is said to be causing unease in many political parties. Our correspondent Blessing Barsi reports that after speaking with many political party members and supporters across the state, many expressed worry about how candidates will emerge. The fear that disagreement and internal struggles could resurface, especially with new defectors from other political parties now competing for the same tickets, they report.
With the election season approaching in Cross River State, political jostling for party ticket is already intensifying. Across the major parties, members and supporters are growing anxious over the candidate selection process as disagreement and power tussle becomes more visible. Meanwhile, the Cross River State APC Chairman Honorable Chris Etta and the Chairman of the Forum of APC Chapter Chairman and Secretaries, Chief Engineer Kelvin Njong, stated that all modalities have been put in place to ensure free and fair primaries within the APC. They urge Nigerians to remain hopeful in the administration of President Tinubu and Governor Otu in their efforts to move the country and state forward. These leaders also appeal for calm among party members, ensuring that due process will be followed in the selection of candidates.
We are actually well prepared for the primaries, and we are equally well prepared for the general election. We have put in place all mechanisms to make sure that we have a seamless, free election. And like you know, there are two models. We have the consensus model and then the open primaries. We are ready for either of them, but we have opted to go for the open primary first. No matter what happens, even if you do the consensus model, you will still go to congresses to endorse those candidates. So I think currently we're in a good position. Everything is in place. The party is ready. We are going to have a history election. We are not in contest right now with anybody.
As a party, we have put all machineries on ground for a smooth conduct of our party primaries, beginning with the National Assembly elections of importance, the House of Reps primaries. So far, all is going to be direct primaries anyway. And as a party, we will adopt, or we are going to adopt the option A4, where card members of the party will line up for the aspirants they want. And I assure you, as a party, it's going to be history. The most popular person will emerge, and all of that. There will be no imposition.
Residents of the state expressed concern over the growing political uncertainties, noting that frequent defection and internal crises could affect stability ahead of the elections. While some criticized the state of political democracy, others noted that Governor Otu's administration is focused on a people-first agenda. They also believe that how political parties handle ticket allocation and internal democracy in the coming months will play a major role in shaping Cross River political landscape.
We understand the APC as a party is a strong party, and so far so good. Our performances, would feature nothing but positivity, in fact, from the primaries to the general elections. And we're very, very hopeful too that Cross River State being a peaceful state and with all followership, geared towards His Excellency, the People First Governor, we understand that he will go always for the best.
The primaries, it will give us a good leveling playing ground if it has been given to those aspirants who are rooted and are on ground. Because you cannot give a ticket to who the electorate doesn't like.
The politics is already in shambolic order because what is happening in a one-party system is not the right thing for the country right now. We need a good opposition party that can challenge the present government in order for them to perform effectively.
Some aspirants said their mission is to bring development and basic amenities to the people. They added that regardless of who emerges, they would support the party's flag bearer and work together to secure victory.
Yeah, to those that will not go beyond the primaries, I will urge them to still be loyal to the party. People like I've been in the APC since its foundation, even beyond it. I've been APP, AMPP, and now the APC. So I've been very loyal to the party. I will urge them, whoever loses out, not to abandon the party for any other party. They should stick to the party and work for the growth and the betterment of the party.
My advice to those who do not clinch the ticket is do not lose faith in the party. Just look at the bigger picture and work. Let's all put our hands together, join hands to advance the goals, ideals of Mr. President and support the renewed hope agenda.
However, many residents are watching closely to see whether political unity will hold or if more defections will emerge as the election season approaches. For CRBC News Panorama, Blessing Bassi reporting.
The people of Akamkpa local government area of Cross River State have endorsed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Governor Bassey II for second term as president and governor. The endorsement was under the auspices of Akamkpa Forum, who also endorsed the members for Akamkpa 1 and 2 in the State House of Assembly, Honorable Kono Wona and Honorable Linus Etem for second term as lawmakers. Our correspondent in Senawa reports that the event, which attracted mammoth crowd of Akamkpa indigenes and non-indigenes, was held at Hoggies Royal Hotel in Calabar, the reports.
Passing the vote of confidence, a former Deputy Speaker of the State Legislature, Right Honorable Tayan Young, stressed the need for continuity to gather more experience, adding that President Tinubu, Governor Bassey II, as well as Honorables Okono Wona and Linus Etem have performed well in their first tenures and should be given another opportunity to do better.
Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu for a second term. We have another motion for the endorsement of His Excellency, the Governor of the State, Prince Bassey II, for a second term. We also have a motion for the endorsement of second term for Akamkpa 1, Okonjo Wuna, and Akamkpa 2, Honorable Linus Bassey Etem, for a second term.
The chairman Akamkpa Forum, Ntufam John Okon, represented by Ntufam Richard Efar, stated that in a bid to encourage excellence and maintain the tradition for 2 tenures in Akamkpa, the people have agreed to return the president, governor, and 2 lawmakers for another term.
Today, the entire Akamkpa came out to encourage excellence. Because the two House of Assembly members, by our own assessment and what they have done in the field, demands that we should encourage them to go back to the second term. And it has been a tradition in the Akampa go through constitution. All members that have represented us in the state of Akampa.
Former members of the state legislature, Right Honorables George Obenichi and Matthew Olori, Akampa Council Chairman Ofort Felix Aposi, and the Commissioner to Cross River State Local Government Service Commission, Dr. Emmanuel Ntuyang, lauded the achievements of the governor and the state lawmakers representing Akampa, stating that they deserve a second term to continue in the development of Akampa.
And on behalf of our leaders, we want to assure the governor that the number of voters that we saw, or the number of votes that we saw in that last election, those numbers were just testing the mind. Because of his resolve to give President Bola Ahmed Tinubu 3 million votes, Akampa will bring out the votes in such a way that when our leader sees our vote, he will know that we will not make a mistake to send.
And the youth has spoken, the women have spoken, the elders have spoken, the party has spoken. Whereas we have unanimously agreed that we have a template in account. Whereas all former House of Assembly members that have represented Akampa 1 and 2 are all here. It is on that note when we remember that we have a template and we have an understanding that anybody that goes to the House of Assembly will go to 10. It is on that note that I rise to move.
Akampa no get name what we get before. When I will serve somebody, while at Akampa, now where God don't give me, they won't give me that bad name. Say anytime people from that place come serve, while I go there. So my prayer is that peace must reign in Akampa.
The people of Akampa wanted to speak, and indeed we have spoken with one voice, that our sons who are representing us currently in the House of Assembly should be given the opportunity to have just that.
The chairman, Cross River State Sports Commission, Mr. Eta Lawrence Itaya, representatives of the women and youth also supported the return of the governor and members representing Akampa 1 and 2 in the state legislature, promising to deliver them 100% in the 2027 general elections.
We are not here to tell people that Akampa people are not united. The show that have been going around in Cross River State shows that they are not united. But the Akampa person is known for unity.
In their reactions, the members representing Akampa 1 and 2 in the House of Assembly, Honorable Sokono Wuna and Linus Etam, appreciated the people of Akampa for the confidence reposed on them to serve, with a promise to continue to deliver democratic dividends to the people, along with the governor, who they noted has brought much development to Akampa.
This crowd today is out of love. That means that you love us. And we are returning that love. We return the love 100-fold. Because if God disappointed us, He has not abandoned us. We are members for just 2 years and about 9 or 10 months. I'm in the House of Assembly and my brother for 2 years and 10 months. And I think we have not disappointed you. So while they give us opportunity, we are going to do better. We are going to do better than what we have done.
The leadership of Basi Edirotu as governor of Cross River State, he had delivered the delivery of democracy. All the promises he has given to Akampa people, the construction of 27 kilometers of Provenza Road, the biggest project in the state, upgrading of College of Education Akampa to university, and appointment of illustrious sons into various appointments. Most critically, the appointment of the first vice chancellor of Akampa of the University of Education and Entrepreneur, Professor Patti Nyong'Effiong, who is from Akampa.
The event drew elders, women groups, former members of the National and State Assemblies, as well as leaders in Akampa local government area. Esiena Wanine reporting.
Away from politics, let's bring to you updates on new developments in the education sector. Nigeria's examination system is set for another major shift as the federal government announces plans for the National Examination Council (NECO) to commence computer-based examination this year. The move, according to the Minister of Education, is aimed at reducing examination malpractice, improving transparency, and bringing the nation's assessment system in line with the global standards. But as students and schools prepare for the transition, questions are already being raised about infrastructure, electricity, computer access, and the country's overall readiness for the new system. Praise Chijoke tells us more, the reports.
For years, the National Examination Council, popularly known as NECO, has remained one of Nigeria's major examination bodies responsible for assessing thousands of secondary school students across the country. But now, the traditional pen and paper method many candidates are familiar with may soon become a thing of the past. The federal government recently announced plans for NECO to commence computer-based examination this year, a move authorities say is aimed at improving transparency, reducing examination malpractice, and aligning Nigeria's education system with global digital standards. This development has since sparked mixed reactions in the state and country at large. While some describe the move as a welcome step towards modernizing the education process, others believe several challenges still threaten the smooth implementation of the system, raising concerns over unstable electricity supply, poor internet connectivity, and limited access to computers in many schools continue to dominate conversations surrounding the announcement. We spoke with Dr. Mrs. Esther Chijoke, a lecturer in the Department of Educational Management, University of Calabar. She noted that although the development is a positive one, many schools may not yet be fully prepared for the transition.
It's a good development, but I don't think at this stage that we are ready for it. It's a good one, but for now, I don't think we are fully qualified for it. Because, wow, some schools are in rural areas. I don't know how prepared, I don't know whether they have qualified teachers, whether they are used to the computers. Then we talk about electricity. How efficient is the electricity? How qualified are the teachers and how qualified are the students? This is something that should happen, at least it should not be now. The awareness should be created, then make job think of how to carry those students in rural areas.
In several rural communities, many residents say access to steady electricity and stable internet connection may become one of the major challenges affecting the new system.
Schools across rural communities will be affected. Why? Because they lack these industrial amenities. Even in the urban areas, so many unity schools lack computer systems or computer programmings that could equip the students knowledge-wise in preparing them for such academic reforms. In my suggestion, I would say they can take it a step further to 2027. Then using this year and before that time to equip schools with the necessary computer gadgets or computer devices in preparing them towards next year.
The area of those routine villages, the remote villages, for Calabar or other cities in my work because of the network, light, and maybe a community like Yake, for instance, when you go to Agwe, how would a student in that place access to these things? So, if not, at the end of the day, most persons will not have access to write this exam. For me, it will be okay for Calabar, for cities, but for other remote villages, I think the challenges will be much.
Others, however, believe the introduction of computer-based examination could significantly reduce examination malpractice and eventually improve the standard of Nigerian education system.
Sure. Because this is computer-based, so anything you're doing, it's online. So there will not be room for someone to carry any chips, in quotes, any chips to look for writing.
They cannot stop exam malpractice if that is what their plan or their idea of them changing the NECO to be an online something. But you cannot stop exam malpractice because in every Nigerian now, or the young one coming now, their mindset now is for them to go exam practice. So I don't think I cannot say 100% it's not possible.
As NECO prepares to enter a new digital phase, students and schools alike are now faced with the challenge of adapting to what could become a defining shift in Nigeria's educational system. For CRBC News Panorama, Praise to JK reporting.
As the use of phones and other digital devices continue to rise among young people, concerns are growing over the possible impact of excessive screen time on their health, social lives, and productivity. Experts and residents alike are calling for more caution and balance in the use of digital technology. Deborah Isongoyo has details of the report.
Recent global report shows that the amount of time people spend on phones and digital devices has continued to rise significantly, especially among young people. Statistics indicate that the global average daily screen time is now between 6 and 7 hours, while the report also revealed that screen time increased by about 12% globally in 2025. In Nigeria, mobile phone usage has also recorded major growth, with the country ranking among the top 10 globally in mobile engagement as millions of young people continue to rely heavily on phones for communication, entertainment, gaming, social media interaction, and streaming services. This has raised concerns among residents in Calabar over the increasing amount of time young people spend on phones and other digital devices for activities such as watching football, playing games, chatting on social media, and streaming television series. Unlike previous years where many people relied mostly on traditional media platforms such as television and radio for information and entertainment, many youths now spend several hours daily on their phone screen. An eye specialist, Mrs. Ejitu Isong, explained that excessive exposure to phone screens may have negative effects on the eyes, especially among young people who spend long hours on digital devices without proper rest. Mrs. Ejitu Isong added that the prolonged screen time may lead to eye strain, blurred vision, and discomfort.
The eye is made in such a way that through blinking, when you blink, you introduce oxygen to your eye. You release tears into the eye that weighs the eye. The surface of the eye, especially the cornea, should be moist as a result of frequent blinking. But when you are on screens, the blink rate is reduced. And so that's one of the things that causes the problems we have with prolonged screen time. The blink rate is reduced, which means you're getting less oxygen into your eye, you're getting less tears into your eyes, and so the eyes will feel irritated.
The eye specialist also advised young people to reduce prolonged screen exposure, maintain proper screen distances, and take regular breaks while using digital devices in order to protect their eyesight.
The screen characters are brighter at the center, and as you go towards the sides, the sharpness reduces, so the eye has more problem trying to decipher them, and so more strain comes to the eye. The most common issues are headache, eye strain, redness, fatigue, back pain. Depending on which one, if you're on your laptop, if you're whatever, several problems have been associated with screen use. You have neck pain, blurred vision, dry eyes, double vision, and difficulty concentrating, even eye irritations. Sometimes you feel as if the eye is smarting, there's foreign body in your eye. It will just be as a result a complication of increased use of the screen.
Some residents in Calabar expressed concern over the growing dependence on phones among young people, noting that excessive screen time may also affect social interaction, reading habits, and productivity.
Most students spend so much time on their phones, hence causing the backdrop in their studies, don't allow them to focus. Most times, when they are supposed to focus on the things that are really relevant, they cannot. And most of these things affect the eyes, and as it affects them negatively, it does not allow them to focus. It does not even give them time to study. It does not also give them that capacity to enlarge because they spend so much time dwelling on their gadgets. They should at least, one, or limit the way they use their gadgets.
I think, yes, we do press our phone a lot, but then if we don't, how else can we communicate with every other person? Because life is very busy and everybody have things that they do. And there I mentioned that there's a lot of opportunities on our social networks and digital space. So most of these youth, they make their money from these online spaces that we're talking about. So they literally have to be there for up to like 12 to 13 hours a day. So honestly, I don't think it's too much. I just think it's the right amount because literally everybody's busy.
Others, however, argue that phone and digital devices have become important tools for communication, entertainment, learning and online business activities in recent times.
Most times, I make research on skills, I watch videos, impactful videos, sermons, and most times entertainment.
Most of the time, I majorly because I'm into graphics design.
Okay.
So either designing a client's work, or I'm just trying to update my portfolio, designing, redesigning, trying to update or improve on a particular design.
Okay, personally for me, I am an entrepreneur, so I spend most of my time sourcing for new designs. I bake, so I spend most of my time sourcing for new designs and decorations.
For CRBC News Panorama, Deborah Isongyo reporting.
Let us delve a bit into climate change as the weather condition calls for it. As rainfalls intensifies across the country, concerns over possible flooding continues to rise in several states, including Cross River State. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency has warned that the state may experience flooding during this year's rainy season, prompting calls for residents to adopt preventive measures and maintain proper environmental sanitation. If you want to report that avoiding blocked drainages and observing safety guidelines can help reduce the devastating impact of floods on communities, the report.
Following warnings of possible flooding in parts of the country during this year's raining season, residents have been urged to take precautionary measures to reduce the impact of flood disasters. Flooding remains one of the major environmental challenges experienced during heavy rainfall, often leading to destruction of property, displacement of residents, traffic congestion, and in severe cases, loss of lives. In many communities, blocked drainage channels, poor waste disposal habits, and uncontrolled building structures have continued to worsen the situation whenever rainfall intensifies. In Cross River State, one of the major issues that lead to flooding is indiscriminate disposal of refuse. Some residents of the Calabar Metropolis advise citizens to avoid indiscriminate dumping of refuse into gutters and ensure they remain alert during the raining season. They also advise builders to avoid erecting structures in flood-prone areas in order to reduce the risk of environmental disasters.
The citizens should be careful, especially in dumping refuse, especially in all these gutters and canals. Because when you block those gutters and canals, you give opportunity for room to come, the flooding to really take place. And when it comes, it will cause a lot of damage. Then also, anybody who is staying, if you know you are staying in an environment where there is flood, you should begin to think of a way to move out of that place. And those also who want to build in all those flooded areas should avoid building there completely, so that you don't go and waste your money and at the end of the day become a big loss to you. So I feel that we should get alert. In fact, citizens should be alert already as we are getting close to the heavy rains, more especially in this period of June, July. These are very heavy, June, July, August. These are rainy months. So everybody should be alert. Especially, I have said here that dumping refuse even in gutters and canals will block all these avenues where water can pass through. Then it gives room for flooding at the end of the day. When water do not have room to flow, definitely it will flood, it will cause flooding.
For us to mitigate or reduce the effect of this, everyone should be, for the farmers, they should plant on time. Farmers should plant on time, and for every other person, we should not throw waste on the gutter, so that we will not, because the end effect of this will be not just on the government but for every one of us. So we should
do the needful.
Others called on the government to create sensitization programs to ensure that citizens have the appropriate information needed to prepare for possible flooding, advising that proper drainage and irrigation systems be put in place to help curb the damaging effects of flooding during the season.
The government should create a proper sensitization to the citizens, you understand, so that they can be aware of what is about to happen, so that they can start preparing in order to make a way not to have flood in the
When we come into this is to ensure the create more of culverts, deep-rooted culverts that will aid in the free flow of water, and also irrigation steps of various categories help in getting this actually done. There are more than enough challenges that goes with this. But then, if we have to start with the very most common, though it might be financially involved, that would be the first thing that will help mitigate this matter.
As the rains continue across several parts of the state, residents are encouraged to maintain clean surroundings and adhere to environmental safety measures in order to minimize the effects of flooding and protect lives and property. For CRBC News Panorama, Ifeoma Ekbeta reporting.
That is all we have on our lineup this week. We hope to be back same time next week. Do keep a date with us. I am Josephine Efang. For updates and engagement, follow us on our official social media handles: Facebook at CRBC, X formerly Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at CRBC Online, YouTube at CRBC New Media, WhatsApp on 090-377-87474. We look forward to connecting with you.